we're here today, gathered to review up to this point of what
Love
show
is
is this?
Blind.
Love is Blind, 2024.
Season 6. I think it is.
And
because we have a lot of opinions.
we have so many opinions about the show.
And the internet is wrong about everything.
Yeah. What is it that you've seen on the internet? Well,
should we start from the beginning, though? Because there's a lot about, like, one particular couple, but I don't know if we should just jump in starting with them. Because a lot has happened. We would just go from, like, episode 1 to now.
Is that most of what the online stuff you're talking about is about?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's just do, let's recap everybody from the top then.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, who do you got?
The first on this list is Brittany.
Which one's Brittany?
Brittany was Miss Southern Belle.
Oh, she's the one who got with Kenneth, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thoughts on her?
So, I don't have any strong feelings about her either way. Her and Kenneth were kind of boring.
Yeah, boring is definitely the word for it. And also cheesy with her like, oh, I just want to be a housewife and I just want to love you as your willing, subservient partner forever.
Yeah. I mean, they seemed like a good match because they had, like, the same idea of what they wanted their couple life to be, and they had the same, like, they connected on, like, value system.
Right.
But that was, like, all they had in common.
Well, yeah, and then the cheese factor actually was, like, heightened by his, like, I don't know if they did this every single night, but, like, the insistence that, like, oh, every night we have to say 3 nice things about each other, or what was it?
Like, one thing we liked about our day, one thing we didn't, something like that.
Bleh.
Yeah, when we got in bed. It was a little cringe, just because it just so hard reminded me of church shit. Like, we're so thankful for this together, and I'm gonna honor you as my husband. And it's like, you don't even know him, girl. You don't know him at all. Like, y'all just met.
Yeah.
And they were just, like, playing house together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's playing house, because you have to be, like, a playhouse tryhard on any of these shows.
I mean, that's fair, you do.
Yeah, but, like, the way
There's
in
something
which...
that seemed extra fake about them.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the way in which they were doing it seemed, like, extra performative.
Like, very try-hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be, like, sitting in silence on their, like, big dates.
Yeah, with nothing to do. And then they were sitting in silence after when they got home and got their phones back. Because Kenneth, not Kevin, he's always on his phone.
Yeah.
Every time they pan to him, he's on his phone, which is just, oh, man.
And I don't know with the way the editing was and everything, but it seemed like the disconnect was more on him. Like, we're, like, into connecting or like, conversation.
Yeah, and we kind of saw that on their honeymoon trip, where they're just, like, sitting on the deck of the boat in just silence with each other. And she's like, what are you thinking about? And he's like, nothing. And she's like, no, tell me, what are you thinking about? Like, we're getting married and everything. And it's just like, he's got nothing to give her. I don't know where his head was at, or if he was just, like, second guessing, or, like, what. It was just really hard to watch, because, like, and then she's trying, like, to, like, hey, we're supposed to be getting something out of this. And he just really seemed indifferent really quick.
Yeah, and maybe that could have been partly the editing, because I'm sure those other couples had plenty of moments of silence. They just chose to stick that in.
Yeah.
Like, that time when AD was asking, like, AD and Clay were having, like, dinner on the dock or something. Oh. And they had a moment of silence, and then AD was like, what are you thinking about, Clay? And he's just like, man, I'm just really afraid I'm going to cheat on you.
She's like, wait, what? Like, where
that's
is your
what you're
head?
thinking about right now?
And he's like, yeah, man, I'm just really afraid I'm going to cheat on you, because, like, I haven't had good role models in my life. And she's like, okay, what? You want to talk about that more? And he's like, yeah. My grandfather cheated. My dad cheated. My dad taught me how to cheat, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just whatever they chose to put in wherever they did is, creative editing choices just to heighten the drama or what have you. Okay, who's next?
Yeah, AD's actually next.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's perfect.
Amber Desiree.
Amber Desiree.
33, real estate broker.
What do you think of AD overall?
AD, let me see. I think she was too good for the show. I mean, obviously, she ended up getting, like, the worst deal.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that?
Well, let's talk about her first, like, in the pods, because she had that crazy connection.
She had Matthew. The psycho Matthew. Oh my gosh.
I love the moment. It was not a great moment for anybody involved,
right.
but like it was kind of hilarious when AD admitted to Clay she had a connection with somebody else, and he was like, "Who?
What? Who?"
She was like, "Matthew," and he just lost it. Like that guy.
I mean, then he went back and told everybody, and they all lost it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
Matthew?"
Like, that connection did not make sense to anybody at all.
Okay, so he got in trouble for promising her the world. Who else was he doing that with?
Somebody else named Amber, I think. And maybe that's why she went by AD on the show.
Oh, maybe.
I think it was another Amber that he had been saying, like, the same things to as he was saying to AD. But, like, they were sneaky because they didn't even show us, the audience, him connecting with that other girl until AD found out about it from the other girl coming back into the women's side of things and starting to talk about it.
Did they show us that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they showed us.
Oh, they showed us after
They
the
showed
fact.
us the other girl coming in and talking about like what Matthew had said to her. I think, if I remember
no,
right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then AD confronted him about it, and he was just like,
"Yeah,
fuck.
I did. Oh, darn."
He tried to like cover. He was like, I didn't say exactly the same thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't admit to anything, but he really didn't put up that much of a fight about it.
No, he probably just walked out again. Just left the room.
Which they showed several of them, like on the first couple dates, where he just like, "Hello, I'm Matthew. Hi, I'm whoever." Oh, leave. He just walks right out. Again.
Or ask them a question and they answer and ask it back to him, and he's just like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you to ask me that back."
What are you just here to data mine people? But anyway, back to AD. Yeah, so after she and Clay got together, I guess this kind of bleeds into talking about Clay as well. I don't know. She just had this. I think she really kind of with who was the Hawaiian shirt?
Jeremy.
Yeah, who was Laura? I think Laura and AD both came into the show with their expectations set a little too high.
What do you consider too high expectations?
Just that they would actually find love and a marriage.
Yeah, but that's the point of the show.
Oh my gosh. Arguable.
But why would you go on the show if you didn't at least have hopes that it might work out?
I think anyone could reasonably go on the show and hope for a relationship, if not like a brand endorsement deal. But to like actually find your person on the show, wacky as the origin story of that is, I don't know. The show doesn't have a great success rate. I don't know why they would just suddenly, work on season 6.
Yeah, but why would you go on the show if you didn't like expect or hope to find your spouse? Because that is the point.
Right. I mean, hope is probably the extent of where reasonability should end. But after
what makes you think they had like more serious expectations than anybody else?
Just because of how upset they got when it didn't work. Especially Laura. I think she really like put her whole heart into it. And then when Jeremy, Elon Musk looking face, went off and did his little midnight shenanigans, she was, justifiably livid about that. But I really think in just her disdain for him after the fact, she really, she kind of said it best herself, where she's like, "Oh, too bad. It's such a shame that you're now just Jeremy in my phone instead of fiance."
Yeah.
I think she really bought into like, no, this is going to happen. Like, I don't know. I don't think she planned for like it not happening.
Well, I feel like once you get proposed to, you're probably planning on it working out.
I know, but in any other context, maybe. But on this show,
I just don't get why you say that. Like, I don't get the distinction you're making, I guess, between like hope and expectation.
I just mean like under the accelerated circumstances, like something's going to come up or get missed, or somebody's going to go astray or whatever.
Yeah. And it's a long shot, but also like falling in love and getting married, like you have to be like optimistic. Like you have to kind of like be hoping and expecting the best. Like at the point that you're already engaged and working toward marriage, I feel like even on a show like this, like the point of the show is to find the person you fall in love with and get married.
Okay, it looks like AD is up next. Where do we want to start?
Well, I really liked her for most of the show. There's only a couple things she did that I was a little like,
What did you like about her?
She
had the queen energy.
Yeah, she definitely did. And I really liked the way that when Clay was like, "Tell me what you look like or I'm not going to propose," she was just like, "I'm not doing that."
There were so many things wrong with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the producers came in and like smacked him on the hand for like, hey, you can't ask that.
I mean, other contestants have asked that in previous seasons.
Have they?
And they've kind of been the villain of the show.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh, you're not taking this seriously. This is an experiment where that's not the point. And, the whole riot act about that. But,
I mean, as it went on.
Well, right. But just the way that she handled it.
I really like the way that she handled it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he was like, about not knowing that obviously he was frustrated that she wouldn't give him anything. And it kind of seemed like he was on the fence about even going forward with anybody at all, but then changed his mind at the last minute.
Yeah, I think it was over time. I think they the way it's edited, like we didn't see all of the steps between that day and the day he proposed.
Okay.
But when he did propose, AD did mention like you got past that.
Right.
Wanting to know what I looked like.
Yeah.
And knowing obviously that he would be happy with the way she looked.
Right. I mean, yeah, and she knew that.
Yeah, and that's why it was a real good move for her to not tell him what she looked like. Because the looks are supposed to be like an added bonus. It's not supposed to be the basis of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly the opposite of what he told her that all of his relationships had been based on.
Which I guess is what motivated him partly to get on the show.
Yeah.
Because he wanted something more meaningful and different.
Which is, I mean, and I don't think he had a very good explanation of how he came around to his decision about it. But, yeah, he seemed to be subconsciously wanting to really challenge himself in several areas for the show. And that's why it was such a big deal, like when he cried and like I guess he went and told his boys about it. And apparently I guess that was a big deal in his friend group for some reason.
Yeah, let's talk about Clay now. Like what do you think overall of him?
I think he's a doofus. The dude had no elocution at all. Like, he could barely get a sentence out. He talked in circles, and I don't think he had a plan for, like, any sentence he said the whole show, but he meant well.
That's fair. Yeah, I do really like him because I felt like he was really sincere and he was trying his best. And he was making, like, an authentic effort and not trying to just... Like, I don't think his intention was to lead AD on.
I don't think so either. And it's kind of what we were saying for the whole show is that it seemed like a lot of his performance was like really trying to get on board with being the good guy and like being in this idealized version of himself that he ultimately like realized, no, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, well, he only had like 3 or 4 weeks to completely overhaul his whole like MO.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think like I do think he has good intentions, and I think he just needs to like finish growing up. Right.
Well, that's exactly it. This is like, hey, I'm not going to marry you, not because I don't like you, but I need therapy.
Yeah, which is fair, but like, why do it in the manner he did it?
Well, no, it was actually prophesized by AD herself when she's like, ooh, not me getting married. And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
I mean, again, the dangers of talking like that, for one, which was weird. Was she the only one who did that?
She definitely used that phrase more than anybody else.
Like, not us matching. It's like, are you, just expressing disbelief that you're matching? Because you are.
I think it's just lingo that we don't hear that often.
I mean, you see it typed out more, but...
Right.
I mean, that's for, like, the kids, though, talking like that.
Yeah, but she's pretty young. How old is she?
She's 33.
Oh. Well, maybe she's just cooler than us.
I mean, okay. I'll allow it. But yeah, Clay was
hilarious.
What the heck, though, with his final decision? Like, where did that come from? Got his friends and his mom there, and then he's just like...
He said a whole bunch of nice stuff to her. He was having a great time that morning, making jokes.
And then he gets up at the altar, he's like, do I look like a husband?
Yeah.
And, like, it's like, it was, oh, you were on board with this until, like, you were asked? Like, what happened, dude? Anyway, he'll probably be great in 10 years.
Yeah, I do feel very bad for AD. She was so confused at the end, like the rest of us.
At that point, wouldn't anyone be?
Yeah. Yeah. She was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, Clay?
Everyone was.
Yeah.
Except his mom, where she's like, on his side, but also I'm going to go yell at your dad real quick.
Yeah, I think she hard blamed the dad, which it probably is his fault. So.
Well, yeah, in which he said himself too.
Yeah.
Which when he's like, AD, I'm really trying to not cheat on you, but you know how it be.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
So we've got Amy and Johnny.
Oh, Amy and Johnny, snoozeville.
Yeah, they're cute. They're adorable. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, they didn't get any, like, hardly any screen time because they were fine. The only thing that was, like, remarkable about them was their whole pregnancy conversation, which was, undetailed, but also felt like a HIPAA violation.
I think, I think that was the only even hint of drama or conflict between them, and so they put that in there. But yeah, and they were both super reasonable about it. Amy was like, I don't really think I want to get on birth control, and Johnny was like, okay, let's look into other options. And then he was like, yeah, I don't think vasectomy is going to work.
Yeah.
And she was just like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, nobody had any kind of conflict or raised voices or anything, or even like frustration about it. They were just completely on the same page.
She did have a bit of, like, it seemed like she was asked a question where she did kind of go into, like, if you guys really want to know, I'll tell you, explanation about, like, I could think it was like her, just maybe she's been on it before and it just doesn't work with her body chemistry or something. So, like, there's a reason. But, like, they didn't address, like, well, Johnny, you don't have to get the snip snaps. You could, just go to the drugstore and get some preventative measures of your own. They didn't address that, but he seemed to be, not that, like, I guess you kind of have to be looking for this rationale if you, like, really want to, but it kind of can seem that he's one of those, like, I don't wear those because selfish reasons or something. I don't know.
I get the idea that he wasn't wanting to rely on just that.
Okay. Well, yeah, because in their conversations, he was also like, I do want to have kids someday. I want to get,
definitely not now.
Everything else sorted first, which is, fine.
He was very freaked out about that. But I'm glad that they ended up getting married. There are winners from the show. And do you think they'll still be married at the reunion?
I'm going to give them probably a 50-50 on that.
I'm leaning toward that they will.
I
think they probably will.
I won't be surprised.
I hope so.
If they aren't, I don't know if I'll be that surprised. If they are, I'm wondering how much of that is due to, they had a lot of family pressure on that. And so...
They did?
Yeah, with her whole side of the family, bringing the grandparents out for the ceremony and...
I bet they'll still be together.
Okay,
I hope they make it. They seemed so sure about each other. They seemed so confident. There was no conflict. Like, unless something crazy happens, I don't know why they would not be together at this point.
Yeah, I really wouldn't know which way to call it for sure.
Yeah.
Unless it is just like a 2-year thing where they really are trying to make it work, but then, like, they actually get to know each other and realize it's like, oh, okay, now that we've settled in and, like, have seen everything, maybe this wasn't, like, we could have dated, maybe not marry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll see. I wonder how much later the reunion actually is after.
Yeah, wasn't it? Didn't...
Couple months?
Well, on the, which is the other show that we're watching?
Ultimatum.
The Ultimatum. Yeah, isn't, because somebody came back pregnant after on the reunion.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be, like, pretty, like, at least 5 or 6 months.
It might be, yeah. It might be several months later, at least.
Huh, okay.
But
I guess we'll see. Let's do Laura.
Laura. Thoughts on Laura?
The only, like, actual memories I have of her are when she invited her family over to meet Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy. And she's like, yeah, tell them about how you want to be with Sarah Ann.
Yeah.
And he's like, do we really want to go down that road? Tell them about how you wear Hawaiian shirts. And her sister's like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I think at that point they were already starting to fall apart, because that's on the honeymoon. When they were together at the honeymoon, I thought they were going to be a solid couple.
They did seem solid, yeah.
They seemed very, like, comfortable with each other. They seemed like personality matches. They seemed good on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, I had put them in my top, like, one of the top couples that I thought were going to make it at that point.
Yeah, I'd put them in second place.
But then, like, more and more stuff started coming up about Sarah Ann. And, like, I think at that point, Laura was already getting really upset about it. And, like, the way that she dealt with that was just picking at him and bringing stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it didn't make her look great. But, like, I get it. I get it. Like, she didn't handle it really the best. But also, like, he sucks.
Yeah.
He ended up really sucking, like, out of nowhere.
And I thought, I don't know. He seemed kind of sneaky from the start.
Yeah.
For one, he looks like Elon Musk. So red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is that any discussion that they had about anything, he would get all just Mr., honest and genuine, and I'm not going to lie to you, especially the thing about, like, I'm tracking your location. He's just like, I'm not going to deny that. And I feel like a lot of that was due to, like, him trying to, like, game theory with the producers of the show, being like, if he did deny something, they'd pan to something that would, like, contradict that. And I don't think that they would inform her of it, but it would, we'd know about it. And so I think he just felt like pressure to be, like, complete super as honest as possible
because the cameras were on him.
Yeah, I know, but like you could just see it in his face and his tone. Anytime like he was confronted with something, he just like, yep, I admit it, I am wrong, this is the way things are, and you're upset, and that's correct. But I don't think he's actually like that IRLs.
Probably not. Yeah, I can see what you mean, but yeah, I can't believe the way he went about what he did.
And then like
unbelievable.
What even his defense during that discussion was, like, oh, I shared my location with you. She's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I saw where you went. Like, why are you trying to lie about it? Like, oh my God, I felt really bad for Laura the way that ended up, because I think she really did. Like, I mean, he had me fooled at first. Like, I thought they were going to be a good match. They seemed really good together. They seemed like they were having a good time. And then it's like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's being a fuckboy. And it's just like, what? You're the nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're the nerdy, teasy guy. We're getting along. We're, like, besties now. And, like, all of a sudden, you're being sneaky and talking to somebody else? Like, where did that come from? And you're lying about it.
Yeah, and the way that he underplayed that whole thing about, like, I was just going out with my boys, and she happened to be there, which I found out through the grapevine.
She happened to be there, so I had to talk to her all night.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just a one conversation to clear the air and, like, whatever. It was like, no, we hung out literally all night just talking.
And that's what Laura was like, okay, so the bars closed at 2. You got home at 6. What's up?
Right. And if you were going to shut that down, it wouldn't take 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you clearly left the door open for her. And I'm so glad, like, she pointed that out, because it's like, okay, yeah, we did just talk. I didn't technically cheat on you, but it's like, that's some emotional cheating, bro.
Yeah. Especially with, I mean, they're not extremely, they're not years into their relationship either.
Right.
So, and especially after her having sent him the message about, like, hey, just in case it doesn't work out, hit me up, which,
Then he did. Ooh. He took that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just proved her right, because he went and told Sarah Ann, like, the next day, I made the wrong choice. Yeah. And it's like, Laura called that shit. Like, she knew. That's why she was kind of bitchy to him, because she knew.
And there's no way to, like, bring it up before something happens.
I think she was trying to.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he was trying to be, like, so upfront and like, no, I'm being a good boy. I showed you the message. I showed you the message.
I turned on my location. Like, I'm being completely transparent with you here. But yeah, that didn't win him any points.
But I'm still going to leave the door open for Sarah Ann, because I have a feeling this is going to crash and burn.
Yeah. And then, like, right after, as she tells him to go kick rocks with his open-toed sandals. And he's just sitting there, like, big power differential there. Sitting down, her standing up, and he's got his little Hawaiian shirt on out of spite because he knew she was going to be there.
Oh, yeah. What a childish move.
Then he trompses off with Sarah Ann, is like, hey, you want to just, like, ride jet skis together? Everyone here sucks. Yeah. And then Laura's like, okay, that boy is 13 years old. Is his mom going to come pick him up?
Yeah, that was hilarious. I would love to be friends with Laura. I think she'd be a hilarious friend to have.
Oh, I think she's scary. I wouldn't want to get her mad.
I feel like she backs up her girls.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, she's got definitely, like, fierce loyalty.
Yeah, I like her.
But I wouldn't want to be getting yelled at by her.
Well, because she's right.
I know.
And she's going to call you out.
It's the same goes for you.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of you.
Yeah. Laura would be, I would be besties with Laura, for sure. Sarah Ann, though, how do you feel about her?
Oh, man. Honestly, I don't remember anything about her from the pods. She just kind of became this shadow figure after Laura and Jeremy got together.
Her and Jeremy did have a connection.
Who else did she connect with? Do you remember?
I think it was just Jeremy.
It was just Jeremy? Okay.
Yeah, and that's why she didn't end up in a couple when he chose Laura.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I do feel a little bad for Sarah Ann. I get it. She liked him. He didn't pick her.
And I think
she's still pining.
Yeah, and she's, like, operating on, like, okay, but it's, I think after you get rejected, it's really easy to go into, like, oh, it's just a Netflix show. They're not going to last. Nobody's actually getting married on this. Best case, or I guess worst case for her, like, they'll date for a few months, realize it's not working, and then, then it's my turn. Because I think,
Right.
not like that we're like taking turns, but I think for this particular scenario, it's like, you know, nothing's real, so you can hold out until things are. And then like meet under like just, or connect under like more natural circumstances.
All that is true. However,
It wasn't a cool move.
it was not a good move.
No.
It was not a good move it was like a bad move to Laura, and it was also a bad move to herself, because if Jeremy did realize he made the wrong choice, like wait until he reaches out to you, because he rejected you.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to like, hey Jeremy, I'm back to collect my second place trophy.
Hey, I'm still waiting for you.
Yeah,
like that's a total
good.
pick me move. And it's like, it's a dirty move to be doing that when he's with somebody else still.
And then to find out what kind of dude he is. It's like, okay, do you really want to stick to that one?
Right. Like, you're not winning, Sarah Ann.
Yeah.
Like, even if you get him, you're not winning. Like, wait till he comes crawling back to you and groveling and saying he made the wrong choice. Like, don't reach out to him.
And then tell him no at that point.
Yeah.
Even if it is like I messed up and I'm sorry, I should have picked you. It should be, yeah, you shoulda. Bye.
And if you're getting a guy who's going to, like, be dirty to the girl he's with, he will do that to you, too.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys have your first fight, he's going to go off and do that with somebody else.
He's going to go talk to Laura and stay at her house until 5 a.m.
Oh, Laura's not taking him back. That's why when Jeremy's like, I tried to make up with you. I sent you flowers.
But you wouldn't give me your address.
Keep your fucking flowers. Like, why would you think that would help? I do not want flowers.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, now
Who's
we've got...
next?
Okay, so Jessica's next on this list, but I feel like to talk about Jessica...
Who's Jessica? Oh, Jessica.
I feel like to talk about Jessica, we first have to talk about Chelsea. Is it time?
Is it time to talk about them too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's next.
Okay.
Chelsea.
You want to talk about Jessica first?
Well, okay. First of all, I also love Jessica.
Okay. Yeah, she was on some Queen.
I love
too.
the way she handled that shit with
Matthew.
No, what's his name? Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah. I love the way she handled it with Jimmy. Like, she's just so upfront. She was so honest with her feelings, but she also kept that queen energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had already chosen Chelsea before that conversation, right?
No, I think he was undecided. He was undecided, but like Jessica kind of poured her heart out to him, and then he had nothing to say.
Oh, yeah.
He was just silent.
Well, okay, so was it that like a journal entry that she had written to her future spouse like 10 years ago or something?
No, she wrote him a letter. She wrote him specifically a letter.
Oh, I thought she framed it as like, this was something I wrote to my future whoever like long ago, and I wouldn't share it with anybody until I was like really for sure about them.
Oh, I missed that if that's true.
Okay. Well, I
thought it was just writing to him about her feelings for him.
Okay. Well, either way, yeah, he had like no reaction to it.
It was
either.
crickets.
Why do you think that was?
Because I think he wasn't sure if he was going to pick her or Chelsea, and he didn't want to say something to her that he wasn't then going to, like...
follow through with.
Yeah, and he was also very unsure about her because of Autumn.
Oh, that's right.
That was kind of his big hang-up with her.
Yeah.
I love the way she was just like, if that's your answer right now, you've lost me.
Yeah.
And when you see me...
And you're gonna... What did she say?
You're gonna choke. Love that.
Let's go.
Love that. But poor Jessica, like, she was heartbroken.
Yeah.
She was heartbroken.
Wait, I mean, over Jimmy, though? What?
I know.
Which is weird because it's like the first thing, okay, Jessica's no longer on the show, boo-hoo, Jimmy lost out. But he doesn't know that yet. But she gets to go home and get back on her phone, look Jimmy up on Instagram.
True.
And then she sees what he looks like.
Yeah, but it's not about, it's Love is Blind.
I know.
She fell for his personality, which it must be, like, there must be a whole side of Jimmy that we didn't get to see.
We saw a lot of Jimmy, and his personality ain't that great.
There must be, like, I heard somebody say that he has, like, this big emotional side to him, like, that we totally missed.
Okay.
And, like, maybe they just really connected emotionally, and so, like, she really couldn't let go of that.
Okay.
Plus, she didn't pull a Sarah Ann and try to go behind Chelsea's back.
Right.
Like, she handled it really well the whole time.
Who are we to say for sure? But it was weird for me to see, you know, her shutting Jimmy down and then stomping out the last time that he heard from her. And then for her to be like, you know, nervous at the middle school dance when they're all having their cookout.
Yeah, that was actually, I mean, but like, I feel like I would be like that. Like, that would be such an awkward situation.
It would be awkward, but like she
nerve-wracking.
left with the upper hand. I guess as far as she knew. I mean, she lost out on the marriage, but for all intensive purposes, told him to go kick rocks as well.
I mean, yeah, but she still really liked him.
Yeah. Okay, well.
She still really liked him. She was nervous about seeing him. And she'd also, she'd really built up her appearance to him. So I think she was nervous about him seeing her. Obviously she is very hot, but, I think she was just
oh, she shouldn't have been worried about backing that up.
I really built myself up to you. She even mentioned that when they sat down and talked.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jimmy, what do you think of Jimmy?
Here it is, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Jimmy,
I do love you.
I love you.
I do
love you. That's the only inflection he ever said that to her in. And she's like, do you love me? Yeah, I love you.
I did kiss you today.
I kissed you 5 times today. No, you didn't. Well, I bit my lip really hard. And that's the second time I've used that excuse.
Yeah.
It was because when we were in there in Mexico, she's like, hey, you haven't kissed me today. I would kiss you, but I was eating so many chalupas or something. Taquitos, that's right. It's I was eating 5 of them at a time and I just bit my lip and I can't, it hurts to talk right now.
Yeah.
And, their first night together where he's just, what was he doing? He was burping and brushing his teeth really weird.
Oh, he was trying to be as gross as possible.
Yeah, he's trying to ick her out.
He was really trying, we could tell as the audience that he was not into her from the first moment he saw her.
I mean, we're kind of working backwards here. Yeah, he did not like the way Chelsea looked.
And people wonder why she keeps needing reassurance because, he clearly didn't really like her.
Yeah, but when you were telling me what you were seeing, it's how is anybody, taking his side for her insecurity?
Everybody is taking his side.
Sense.
It makes no sense to me. Okay, she's handled things badly.
Yeah.
Obviously she has some insecurities that she needs to work out, etc. But there's a reason why she's especially insecure in this relationship. It's because he clearly doesn't like her.
Yeah.
But off camera, he must seem to like her sometimes. I think she's just getting really mixed signals from him.
Maybe he could only muster so much in small packets and give her as much as he could in those moments and then had nothing else for her.
Yeah. Yes, if he's if this is a normal relationship in which both people do want to be there and they're being great and she's still demanding this much reassurance and being very, I don't know, how would you describe her behavior and attitude?
You mean under if things were fine and she were still being that, skittish about things?
Yeah, just in general, I guess.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just really reactive to his lack of action because he wasn't acting like he liked her at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he was I do love you. I'm saying the right things. I'm making the right noises, aren't I? I do love you. What do you want me to say? And any time you say anything with that, it always sounds like a but is coming after.
Mm-hmm.
I do love you, but I don't like you.
Right. Exactly. If anybody told me that in that manner, I'd be oh, you really don't like me.
Yeah, it's this is my convincing tone.
Yeah.
Do you not believe me?
Yeah. Chelsea, yes, I think she has work to do.
Yeah, she's kind of a
But
mess.
I do not understand why the entire internet is acting like she's emotionally abusive. They're literally using the term, that's a complete misuse of the term emotional abuse.
I mean,
she's emotionally abusive.
Facebook psychologists, so lower your standards for proper use of English and psych terms. But
a bunch of pick-me's on there.
You think a pick-me for Jimmy? Ugh.
Just pick me women who will hate on female traits that they think is generally unattractive to men. Okay. That's being very pick me.
Right.
And yeah, Chelsea's behavior is not attractive, but it also doesn't make her an abuser.
No. I mean, she got very loose-lipped when she drank.
The fight,
wasn't cool.
Yeah, the fight that they had while she was very drunk was probably the worst behavior that we've seen from her. But she even admitted that was I was not good. That was not a good way to handle my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
Because it seemed he forgave her for that. But then we find out when they rent out the whole amusement park, he's still mad about it. What's up with that?
Excuse.
You think so?
He's been trying to get out of this since he saw her because she didn't look like Megan Fox.
So I mean, yeah, poor comparison for that. on her part.
Yeah, she shouldn't have said that,
but still, like, for him to do what he did, to, you know, break off the relationship then, even if it is like, oh, you're just still mad about that and you're using that, or like you want to way out and you're using that as an excuse, you should have broken up with her
you should have broken up with her forever ago.
Yeah.
At least, like, if you knew at the fight that they had that drunken fight, if you knew then, like, you should have ended it then.
Especially if that was the case.
Don't act like, this is my thing. Don't go have an amazing day where you pick out ice sculptures for your wedding and you talk about your wedding playlist, and then you go to an amusement park and have like your best date yet. And then at the end of that, just be like, we're not getting married.
Well, after asking her, like, hey, where's your head at with this? And she's like, I'm feeling pretty good. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
And like, yeah. Even if it was the case that he was brooding on that fight for that long,
that's extremely cruel to do it in that manner.
To drag it out and like at like the precipice of like, okay, the next, you know, the big day is in what, 2 days? You already picked your dress out and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, yeah, Jimmy, that was the like really, really bad timing. The only timing that would have been worse would be at the altar.
Oh, we already talked about that.
Yeah. That's the only timing that would have been worse. But if you're gonna like drag it out this long, like, why do it then?
I know.
Why then?
Because you're not like saving yourself. Like, oh, I dated her as long as I could, and then, you know, didn't go through with it. Like, you don't look good for that.
He led her on the entire time. He made her feel crazy because of all the mixed signals that he gave her.
Yeah. Which, how would you ever get him to admit to on that? Unless he sees it on playback. But again, who are we to know? I don't think he would admit it. I mean, we don't know everything that either hour. I think
part of it. I think he was trying to convince himself that he was into her more than he was, but like,
which came off to her as, oh no, he does like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I love you. I don't know what you want me to say.
I do love you.
I do love you. Yeah, if anyone breaks up with you after making engagement ring ice sculptures.
That same day, you wait till the end of like the best date y'all have had.
I know.
What is wrong with you,
man? Maybe every other moment seemed inappropriate for that, and then he just ran out of moments for that day.
Don't have the date at all. He must have known that morning.
I mean, he must have known way before that.
Yeah, he must have known. He knew way before.
Yeah, I guess it was just at that point, he's like, I don't know if I can keep going through with this. Because we're like, I don't want to gather the relatives and then say no, so I might as well do it now.
Jimmy's fake.
While he's, you know, letting his $15 hamburger just get cold right in front of him.
He was just waiting for an opportunity to make it her fault that they broke up. Yeah. So he didn't have to look like an asshole that he doesn't like her because she doesn't look like Megan Fox. He's been trying to avoid looking like that asshole the entire time.
End of story. But we saw that, like, when they, on the very first face reveal, we were just like, oh, he doesn't like her.
Yeah, you could tell. You could see it on his face.
And then the first thing she asks is like, do you like how I look? Am I pretty?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Which is just, that's a really awkward position for him to be in.
Yeah, to be fair. He's like, it's, I don't know I didn't know what to expect.
I think you lied to me.
Yeah, right. I feel like I got cheated.
Yeah, and I mean, that's where, like, she shouldn't have said that she looked like Megan Fox because, like,
nobody should say they look like anybody on the show.
You don't want to set that high expectation because you don't want someone to be disappointed when they
like,
do see
even
you.
if you do, somebody out there is going to disagree with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't even say anything at all. But yeah, even like, especially on like, oh, Love is Blind, don't give your like, you know, celebrity look-alike.
Yeah.
Because that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
anyway.
I really don't know why she did that, except if she was trying to compete with Jessica.
Probably.
But I don't even know if she knew about Jessica at that point. And also, she knows he can't see Jessica.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, because the girls all got to talk after, you know, pod time was over. They got to commiserate on who's talking to who and everything. And I can see how she might have felt intimidated about Jessica.
Yeah.
Because you know, they knew each other.
I don't think Chelsea is unattractive, except when she makes her really frowny face.
Yeah. She
has a very, very frowny face.
Yeah, she's got upside down mouth syndrome.
And she had a lot of opportunities to be frowny around Jimmy.
Yeah, obviously. What was it that one beach party where he's eating all the taquitos and biting his lip, where he just like, Oh, that's when he's like, AD's looking fine tonight.
He started hitting on AD. It was very weird. And just left Chelsea like standing there.
And she's just like, I guess I'll go talk to these guys.
This is awkward.
Hey, Laura and Jeremy, can I sit with you guys? Sure. Where's Jimmy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Then they pan over to like him like looking at AD's butt.
Yeah, and then flirting with AD for a bit.
Which is, I mean, he looked like he was probably 4 or 5 drinks in at that point. Which I thought they capped the number of drinks you could have on this, shows like this, but
I guess they don't.
It must only be Love Island that they do.
They do on Love Island, but they don't on this one.
Well, just even still, like there's nothing.
They're not really in that kind of same controlled environment.
I guess not. But yeah, Jimmy, total loser, did everything in the worst way possible and should have just copped to it at the outset.
The one redeeming thing about Jimmy is the way he handled that one argument that Chelsea was very drunk in. Like, he won some points with me there because...
Oh, where he's, like, explaining to her, like, you crossed a boundary, I asked you not to.
Yeah, like, he was handling that well. And also, like, I like that he set that boundary for his friend.
Right. Yeah, no, that shows respect.
Yeah, he told Chelsea about it up front. He was up front with her off camera. And he's also protecting his friend.
Right.
Like, that was a good guy move.
Well, yeah, and it's, says something that, like, oh, here's a dude who's, like, best friends with 2 women. I don't think he has, like... disrespect issues,
right?
So yeah, it seems like he does have like solid dude points there. It's just, I mean, he really I don't know if he just lacks finesse in relationships or if it just priming his interaction with Chelsea was just doomed from the outset because he wasn't attracted to her.
I think that's what it was,
right?
And I think she could tell, and that's why she was so insecure.
Yeah. And they just drug it out for the whole thing. Yeah. And they got the most screen time because they're always fighting about stuff.
Yeah. He shouldn't have drug it out. But, like, overall, he doesn't seem like a bad dude. He just seems like he could not handle that situation.
Yeah.
He did not know how to handle that.
All right, who's next?
That's it. We're kind of at the end there. Oh, except for Trevor. We haven't talked about Trevor.
I do love you. I do. I love you.
Yeah. Trevor really called Chelsea out.
Yeah. And I feel like she lost out because she described... to us, like, as him being her type, and she didn't know in the pods.
And he was more sure about her.
Yeah,
he wasn't deciding between two
She was his number one, and I thought it was not poignant, but I thought it was just like, aw, poor guy, when he was just like, I just kind of want to be left alone after she's like, so I told Jimmy yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay.
He was pretty heartbroken.
I'll just go home and shave my mullet off then.
Yeah. He seemed like a really sweet guy.
Yeah. And the dude was an enormous too.
Yeah. Although I did hear, I don't know how true this is, but I heard he had some girlfriend off the show. Yeah.
No.
I don't know if it's true. It's
Facebook. Every single one of them probably did at some level. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Wasn't there, what other show was it? It might have been Love Island that stuff of the Twitter challenge comes out about like so-and-so has a girlfriend up until about a week coming on the island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is Love Island.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's not like that uncommon, but yeah, a little too close.
Yeah.
Is that everybody?
I think it. Well, everyone I recognized from the list, a bunch of people who didn't really like get any screen time.
Oh, do you want to? That's okay. Yeah, Johnny. Spoiler alerts. Who else is there? Ben.
I don't think I've ever seen him. Don't know.
Dion. Never heard of him. Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't know if that is. Jeremy.
Ariel.
Don't recognize
got
him.
A beard and a top knot. Drake.
Who
the heck are you? There's Trevor, like 6'9" and 300 pounds. Nolan, Clay, that guy. Vince.
Yeah, I don't know who
the
heck is. Jimmy.
Get a chin, Jimmy, while you're at it.
Jamal.
I
don't remember him really.
Austin, never heard of that dude. Kenneth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about Kenneth. That was for being 25 years old, and he's a middle school principal.
He's 26, and he's a middle school principal.
Okay, still like
God and family.
Just how do you get that job at 26?
Who knows?
Maybe it's a just really in need school, which nothing wrong with that. It's just I wouldn't trust any 26-year-old anybody to be an administrator.
Matthew, anything else you want to say about Matthew?
Yeah, the guy's he gives off shooter energy.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell at first if he was just like, oh, he might be on the spectrum. He might be a little like just awkward. I thought like I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt at first for his awkwardness.
At first, yeah.
But then, yeah, he started being real psychopathy.
I mean, just with how like not in like the DSM sense, antisocial, but like how resistant to inclusivity he was with even just the boys in the living room and kitchen. That scene where it's like, yo, Matthew, you left your water bottle, and he does this like freeze, spin, saunter back, grab it, spin around again, saunter off, and it's like, oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, he had this like superiority thing going on,
which is
with
weird,
everybody, even with the girls. Because as soon as a girl started being like too boring for him or something, he would just leave the room.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those. So what do you bring to the table?
Yeah,
sort of guys on the first date. Yeah, and it's just man, he was wasn't he like the oldest person we saw? He was 36.
Yeah, probably pretty old.
Or I mean, he might
37.
be 37 now.
Yeah,
I swear it said 36 on the show. But yeah, and he's smiling here. He didn't smile once on the show.
Mm-mm.
And then he like just cycled through everybody and got like really attached to AD. Oddly,
and another girl,
and and whoever else it was, but we didn't even see that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think they gave him a lot of screen time at the front just because he was so weird.
He released something. He was just like, well, the show didn't take an account, like their edit made me look bad, and they didn't take an account that I was sober.
What?
Like, okay,
no, it wasn't that.
Yeah, you're even more accountable for everything you said than if you've been sober the whole time. What do you mean you can't connect with people because you're sober? Like everyone else is like drunk all the time.
Yeah. There's no editing tricks that made him look the way that he did. That's why they kept showing him.
He said what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything he said was so concerned with like appearance. Like he was like, "Oh, America's watching, and like they're rooting for the underdog." And it's just like, what are you talking about?
No,
like,
he's got a whole narrative playing in his head about how this is going.
Oh, definitely.
And it's not true, cute, or helpful in this scenario.
No.
But yeah, after he left the show, after just getting called, was it AD that called him out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that big showdown. Did he just kind of like tail between his legs and dip out?
I think he just left.
Okay. It really seemed like he was going to go, either just like, oh, well, back to work, or maybe this isn't fair to say, but just go out and do something dramatic. I don't know. He's just got like chaotic, unpredictable energy.
Yeah, I agree. He was a little scary.
I mean, he probably just went like, well, back to work, back to managing these accounts. Or what is it, like account executive or something they said?
Something like that.
Well, most of these job titles were so vague that they gave these people. Let's see, who else was there? There Anne, Amy C. Mackenzie. I don't know her.
I think she showed up at like their barbecue, but I don't know anything else about her.
What did you think of AD confronting Sarah Ann? I didn't think it was her place.
I would have liked her to bring that energy to Jeremy. I think Jeremy like deserved that attitude. I think it was a little catty to do it to Sarah Ann.
Yeah.
Like she acted like she was being very polite, but she had that, she had that attitude about it.
Yeah,
and, like, she
especially when it's like, when she's like, okay, I'm still talking. It's like, this isn't a conversation. I'm just here to scold you, but nicely.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And then I get why Sarah Ann went off and cried about it, because it's like, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
attitude.
That was kind of,
that was one of the few moments with AD that I was like, I don't know if you need to be doing what you're doing right now.
Because wasn't she the only one who like pulled her aside specifically to say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she acted like she was just being a girl's girl and sticking up for Laura. But it's like, if you're doing that, take that to Jeremy. Like Jeremy's the one who owed Laura something.
Yeah. It's not even that she was involved in it. It's like she just heard about it through, whoever's recap of it. So, and she just kind of inserted herself into it to where it's like, why are you talking to me about this?
Just making Sarah Ann report to her about like, so tell me why you did that, Sarah Ann.
Yeah.
It's like, that's very confrontational. Like, and not very nice.
Overall, not nice.
Just not very nice. Like, I mean, if you had an opinion about it, go tell Sarah Ann, like, hey, I don't think it's cool that you did that.
Yeah.
But like, you don't need to like put her through that. At a barbecue where everyone's trying to have a good time.
And make her justify herself way after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like, okay, we're at a barbecue here, but I don't know, maybe the producers told her to like, hey, somebody go talk to Sarah Ann who wants to do it.
AD, I volunteer. Yeah, I just feel bad for Sarah Ann in that moment because like everyone's against her.
I really wanted them to pan to Laura being upset about Jeremy. And then, like, in the background, we see them on jet skis. And then for them to, like, hey, who's that over there? And she turns around and it's just like, I wanted to see her, like, lose her mind about it.
Yeah.
Because
I'm kind of surprised they didn't shoot something like that.
Yeah, and it would be, I mean, I guess they can't instigate too much, but it would have lent itself to another round of yelling at Jeremy about, like, see, you just proved my point. Or maybe she wouldn't have wasted the breath on him at that point. Who knows? But
Jeremy deserves to be yelled at.
Yeah.
He acting like he can get away with shit, like, covertly because he didn't technically sleep with her, like...
Which, I don't know, what do you think actually happened? Because she said, like, he just came over, we chatted. And he said, well, I just went over, we chatted.
Yeah, I mean, they probably did just chat.
Okay.
They probably did.
Do you think there was any energy of, like, I really want to kiss you right now? I know I technically can't, but... Because, like, you don't talk to someone for that long if there's not a little bit of tension.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they were laying the groundwork for... Yeah. Obviously, they were laying the groundwork for getting back together because immediately they then got together. Like, clearly Laura was right.
The prophecy is fulfilled.
Clearly, Laura was right when she was just like, you talking to her until 5:30 in the morning.
No.
Clearly, you're leaving the door open.
Yeah. Boy, bye.
If it was just to clear the air and shut it down, that would have happened hours and hours before that.
Even then, yeah, he could have made so many different decisions at so many points in that night.
Yeah.
Like, even like, oh, hey, what's up? And just hung out with her there. And, you know, he's under the supervision of everybody else. So obviously he's not going to do anything. He, you know, Mr. Want to think ahead and be transparent with everything. So I don't think he's going to do anything to shoot himself in the foot in the presence of everybody else. Mm-hmm. Or he could have been like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Let me just go home and be with the girl I actually want to be with. Well, that wasn't the case, so.
Yeah. So people online were saying Laura was kind of a mean girl. What do you think about that?
I mean, I get where they're coming from. Like, if you're on her bad side, like, she hates you.
Yeah.
It seems.
That's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of her wrath, but I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of any woman's wrath for that matter. But
she was kind of mean about the Hawaiian shirts. Like,
it's like, yeah, she had a thing out about that.
It's like if your partner loves something, like, get on board.
Yeah, especially if it's something harmless.
Yeah.
If he's into something like weird and like deal breaker oriented, like, yeah, make up your mind there. But like, hey, I like to wear Hawaiian shirts. It's like, okay, go ahead. Yeah. They seem to make you happy. It's like, oh, yeah. I like wearing my jammies and Crocs in public. Okay, not my thing, but if it makes you happy, go ahead.
Right, exactly.
So
he was enjoying it. Like, she was kind of mean about that.
Well, and that's kind of what I said. Like, I think her expectations were a little too high because, like, she's looking to find marriage and love forever and everything. So I think her standards were a little over idealistic, or she was
they're all looking for that.
Well, I know. I just mean, like, she was really absolutist in her, like, I don't like that versus I do like that. I think she just expected Jeremy to be more
exactly what she wanted.
Yeah, just be exactly what she wanted, and that's why every little thing that wasn't was, you know, a discussion that we saw.
Yeah, I can see that.
Especially for something as trivial as the Hawaiian church, which kept coming up somehow. But
yeah, I don't know why it had to keep being such a topic.
Yeah, or maybe it was the only thing that she didn't like. It's like, well, you still wear Hawaiian shirts sometimes, so there's that point against you.
Yeah, I don't like anybody trying to mold somebody into, like, you're only going to be the things I like.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great opportunity for this show because you can form all sorts of, like, preconceived notions and projections in the pods.
Yeah, but, like, that's true for anything.
Right.
Like, even, like, Love Island or getting to know anybody, like, anytime.
Well, yeah, the difference is we just get to see it.
Like, a hell of a lot on everybody else. Yeah. Especially our partners that we want to be the perfect one.
Well, yeah, if you're primed to, like, go find a relationship on the Find a Relationship shows, you're gonna have some expectations set, whether you like it or not.
Looking for your type, like a blokey bloke.
Like blokey bloke. He's got tattoos. He's a tradie. A bit cheeky. He's got banter. Good banter. He's got good flanter. He gives you the fanny flutters.
Exactly. Down to earth.
He's down to earth. He's like really genuine. And then the boys are like, oh yeah, he's like, she got a fit bird, nice tits, nice bum. Yeah, innit? My body count, yeah. Talking with the lads, right? And I've got over 300 birds I've bagged, haven't I?
See, and that's why I like the show Love is Blind, because nobody
brings up body counts for one.
I like, that. And also, like, the premise is that it's not just based on appearance.
Yeah.
That's, like, the dream.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, on any of these shows, all the boys do walk in with, like, oh, this is my type physically. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this takes all that away. Because, yeah, Love Island is like, oh, this is my type. She's got, like, blonde hair and just other physical attributes.
Yeah, the first coupling up happens before anyone speaks to anybody else.
It's so it's like the opposite of Love is Blind.
It is.
It's like Love is Deaf.
Right?
Which, hey, that could be a show.
Ugh.
Just give everyone like just noise canceling headphones, and they only like I guess they have like little whiteboards they can write to each other with. I don't know. We can keep workshopping additional show ideas.
Anything would be better than the ultimatum, which is just like, let's go ruin our relationships.
Yeah. Let's go ruin our already like should have ended relationships.
Yeah.
By breaking up and coupling up and knowing about it in this little fishbowl, and then ultimately like missing each other but going back home to the same problems, I guess, is the best case scenario.
And having additional problems of like maybe one of us fell for somebody else.
Yeah, or like even who is it that we're watching now? What year is this? 2023 that we're watching?
Maybe.
Okay. It's
season 2.
Oh, it's season 2?
It's
okay.
season 2.
Who are the people from Kentucky? Or no, I guess they're all from North Carolina, but who's that girl with the accent?
The high school sweethearts?
Yeah. Where they've been together 7 years and haven't dated anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's kind of like extremely different scenario of like they've been together 7 years, haven't dated anybody else, but then it's like the older couple that's been together 2 years. It's going to be the same thing where it's like one of them is going to be itching to date around because, you know, it's only been 2 years. And the other one's like, I've never dated anybody else before. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, whoa, this is more fun than what I was doing. Now I'm conflicted.
Yeah, it's really stupid premise. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
You can't compare new partner energy with the relationship you've had for years that you're considering marrying.
Yeah. And then because every single one of these shows is like, we're only operating in the honeymoon phase.
Right.
Before anything real happens. And everyone is playing house. I don't know why my voice cracked there, but yeah, it's, or even to just like Nick Lachey introducing the ultimatum as like, the psychologists say that in all the Webster's dictionary defines the ultimatum as...
It's a bad way to get started on your relationship, but let's do it.
Let's do it anyway. Psychologists recommend against this, but who are we to listen to them? We're not doctors here.
Although, like, my favorite of these shows, pretty much, like, so far, is the Queer Ultimatum season. That was amazing. It was, like, the most intense...
Oh, man. What a roller
reality
coaster
dating
that
show that we've ever watched.
Yeah, just the tears and the rawness of the whole cast, too. Everyone was so
real.
candid.
They were so real.
Yeah.
I follow
to the point
them all
of where
on
it's
Instagram
like...
still.
Well, yeah. It's fun to hear updates of them. But, like, to the point of, like... I mean, several times, I think it was Xander that got here the most, but to the point of, like, this show is, like, really messing with my life right now, and if you camera people could just, like, go away for 5 minutes, I'd appreciate that.
I don't remember Xander doing that.
Oh, she got at the...
No, that was Tiffany. Do you remember? Tiffany really got that, like, even, like, I think at the least, the reunion, she just pieced out.
Yeah.
Because Mildred was just laying into her and making her seem like the bad guy, like, over and over and over again.
I was referring to when, who was Xander with? Vanessa. When, I think it was after their, like, reintroduction to each other, when they met in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
When, I think it wasn't it Vanessa who was like, I've learned a lot and I'm not a good partner to you and we should break up? No, something?
Vanessa wanted to get married.
Oh, that's right.
Xander broke up with her to go be with Yoli.
To go be with Yoli.
And then Yoli chose Mel.
Yeah. Oof.
It was such a heavy show. Oh my gosh. And it doesn't help that I watched like half of that high, so it was just like extremely intense. Like I feel like I know these women's souls.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another podcast.
Yeah. Well, we're already an hour in, so thanks to anybody who bothered to make it this far, or if you watched it on 1.75 speed, Godspeed to you.
Our opinions are the right ones.
They definitely, I mean, hers are. I'm just here to be the echo chamber. So hopefully we'll be back. Don't comment, don't subscribe, don't do any of that. Don't even listen to this. So if you made it this far,
and you don't know us,
big mistake. Yeah, you don't know us. But yeah, you know who it is. It's your crew. We'll be back with you next week with something else.
Bye.
Bye.